Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Dimitri Johnson, and you're listening to MMALatestNews.com.
It's time to roll, baby.
Hey guys, welcome back to MMA Latest. We're here for the UFC 249 preview. We have finally got some fights on the line. We've got 3 cards in a week, which we'll be previewing all across the week as well. We're here with Orion, Reese, and we're here with Jay, of course, from MMA Latest. They will do some writing on the channel or on the website. Go check that out. And you've seen Orion as well on the watch long almost a year ago now, when we saw Masvidal against Ben Askren. Of course, you was on the watch long for that. So yes, boys, we've got some fights again. How do you feel about that one?
I'm buzzing for it. Honestly, I was, like we were talking before we started recording, I was all in for it last month when they said they were going to come back, and it all went up in flames. So I'm trying to stay composed and not get too excited yet, because I'm kind of looking at the bad side of things, expecting something to pop up on my phone any day to say somebody's tested positive. But fingers crossed, like everything is going to go smoothly and the card's going to happen, because it's going to be unreal. And also for the sport, it's going to be crazy, because I think all eyes will be obviously on the UFC, because there's nothing else on. So people might just tune in because there's nothing else to do. So yeah, I'm excited for it.
Yeah, that's very true. I think it's almost 50-50 because obviously they're charging for it. I guess, is it $60-$70 over in the US?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that, it seems like, I know from a business point they're going to be they've lost a lot of money in the past month, but it seems like they should have probably done this at, like, say 50%, and then you get a bigger audience in perhaps. But they're going at full price. But it is a stacked card. Jay, what do you made of it so far?
I think with the criticism that happened recently when it was supposed to go ahead a couple of weeks ago, I was kind of a bit taken back by it. But the longer this pandemic has gone on, it just made more and more sense to get some fights going ahead. And with the card that it is, like, it's stacked from the first fight right to the main event. So ultimately, I'm just excited. I can't wait to see it. I'm looking forward to doing some work on it. So I think we needed this. I think everybody needed this. There's no football, there's no boxing, there's no MMA, but thankfully it's the first one back. And I think Dana's he's pretty clever. He knows this is going to be a big card. We're going to sell. It's going to get a lot of views. So yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah, it's a shame. It's a shame that obviously we lost Khabib and Tony once again, but we have got Tony versus Gaethje now, which is, again, it's an absolute bloodbath of a fight. It's a crazy main event. It's for the interim title, which has probably pushed McGregor out of the title shot or out of the picture for the minute. And it looks like he's going to face Masvidal anyway. But in terms of the lightweight division, Reese, what does it mean for the lightweight division at the moment?
I think it's hard to say. I mean, you've got, obviously, Khabib won't be fighting until, was it September, I think, when Ramadan's over.
Mm-hmm.
So with Conor looking like he's going to be fighting Masvidal, the winner of this will obviously go on to fight Khabib, but then you've still got the likes of Dustin. You've still got Dan Hooker, who's just come off that win as well.
Yeah.
It's going to be interesting to see where everyone fits in.
Yeah, it is interesting as well, because there was almost a little bit of a chat of, if this fight between Tony and Gaethje happened, would Dana slide McGregor straight into a title shot, which it looks like he's not going to do, sticking to his word. But, if Justin Gaethje picks up a win this weekend, it throws out an entire sort of curveball to the division.
It definitely makes it a lot more muddled, I think.
It just robs us of the Tony Khabib thing completely. He's just going to ruin everything, even though they're bringing sport back and we're all buzzing for it. It might ruin the whole big 5 times missed fight thing.
Ultimately, I wanted to see Conor and Gaethje. I think that was the fight that made the most sense in the lightweight division. But Gaethje has been knocking on the door for quite a while, so he definitely deserves this spot. So again, I just have this bad feeling that he's going to be the one to disrupt the Tony Khabib thing. I mean, how many times has this happened? We're seeing it now in Bellator as well with James Gallagher and Carl Eleanor. That's kind of a similar path. They've tried to make that fight a couple of times. Just a bad look at the minute of the sport, but I really feel like Gaethje's probably going to cancel that fight out altogether.
Yeah, especially considering we were so close to it actually happening. And then obviously with this pandemic, it got cancelled. But other than that, we would have seen it by now. And 2 weeks ago, we would have seen Khabib versus Tony Ferguson finally. And we would have been on track. But, things don't work out like that. And maybe it needs something thrown into the mix to either almost lose hope, or maybe we need something just to break the curse, and we get Gaethje versus Khabib, and then Tony Ferguson down the line after that, or even Conor versus Tony.
I think Conor in it. I think Conor matches up well against any of the top 5. I think when we saw Conor face Khabib, obviously there was a lot of rumours going around that he didn't have a good camp and stuff like that. But I think there's probably 3 men that can beat Khabib. I think you've got Tony, I think you've got Justin, and I think you do have Conor as well when he's on his A game. So, like that 4-man little quadrant of fighters there, it's going to be interesting to see who faces who beats who, and then who comes out the other side with the belt around the waist.
Yeah, and Dustin Poirier was very close to submitting Khabib. Well, I don't know how very close, but Dustin Poirier performed pretty well as well against Khabib.
I think he had the best performance of anybody against Khabib.
Yeah, I think he's done best. Him and Ali Quinto are probably the 2 standout performances against Khabib.
Apart from when Michael Johnson rocked him.
True.
That was just a glimpse, I agree, but it does show that Khabib can be caught on the feet. But if you would have thought if anybody was going to do it, it would have been Conor. But Khabib's game is just so good, and he has a chin on him, so he can walk through it.
To think that though, it depends on what percentage Conor came into that fight. If he was only 50-60% ready for a Khabib, then it changes the game drastically there.
That's what I was thinking, because I felt like Conor had a good 2.5 to 3 rounds against Khabib, and I felt like in the first 2 rounds he got taken down, but he didn't take a lot of damage at all. It's not like Khabib was pummeling him, and he felt like he was kind of fresh going into that 3rd round before he got caught, obviously. But it just feels like a Conor that's in his optimal shape doesn't get caught with that overhand. You feel like he would be it.
Yeah.
So.
No, he definitely disrespected his Khabib stand-up game. 100%.
To be fair, I think he said that, didn't he? I think on his Instagram post a few weeks after the fight, he did say that he didn't have any spars whatsoever. It was more the offensive wrestlers that were brought into his camp and stuff like that. So
John Kavanagh said, go ahead.
No, go on.
Yeah, like John Kavanagh said on, I think it was the Joe Rogan podcast, that they basically trained on how not to lose as opposed to winning, which is, you don't put that in McGregor's mindset, That's not what got him to being the biggest star in the sport, in my opinion.
I feel like if you do that at any sport with that mindset, you're kind of setting yourself up to, you're not trying to win, you're just preparing not to lose, which is like...
Yeah.
And also,
only half the battle.
Yeah.
Yeah, to add fuel to that as well, we've seen Cerrone come out and say he didn't want to be in the fight with McGregor come fight week. And you flip that and say, whenever have you seen McGregor already defeated before he enters the cage? How many times have you seen him in that mindset? And it's not often.
To hear that interview with Cowboy was just so weird. For him to just openly admit that he didn't want to be there in what is his biggest fight, his biggest money fight. He's always been criticised for not showing up on the big nights, and for him to graciously admit that he didn't want to be there, I thought was quite surprising personally. But we all know what Cowboy's like. He's just said it how it is, and he doesn't care if anyone gives him stick for it. So, but it was
you have to respect him. You have to respect him for sure. And could we be seeing him for the final time this weekend? He obviously faces Pettis in a rematch. This could be a last fight for either one of them.
Yeah, I agree.
I think it's the last fight for Pettis in the UFC if he doesn't get a win.
Yeah, I can see him going Bellator where Sergio is, perhaps.
Yeah, I'd say I was surprised when he lost to Ferreira, but I was expecting him to utilise his stand-up a lot more against Ferreira. But he went to the ground with him, and I was a bit surprised at that.
Well, there's a bit of talk, obviously, with this fight. It's almost jokingly been titled the Dan Hardy Eliminator fight if you've been watching BT. So you can see whoever wins this gets a Dan Hardy sort of return fight, I guess, which could be exciting.
I don't want to say Dan Hardy return, personally.
It's crazy to me how he wants to return at such a high level.
Yeah.
He's going straight in there with Pettis.
He is not talking about taking a tune-up or against somebody like from a lower local level or anything like that. He wants to go back in against one of the... I mean, Cowboy and Pettis are both not in the top 5 anywhere, but like still they're...
elite level.
To just step out of retirement and go in there, and I don't know what he expects to come back with a win. It's kind of crazy.
How long has it been since he's fought? It's probably 6 years or something.
Yeah, 2014, 2015.
Yeah, like that's a long time, and to step in, like I said, these guys aren't top 5 or nothing like that, but it's an elite level striker that you want to go in against, and I just think it's too much too soon.
Yeah, and think of how active Cerrone has been in that period as well. You know, he's fought what is he on 4 or 5 fights in the past? Well, since the beginning of 2019.
It's been a lot.
I would assume so.
He doesn't stop fighting.
Yeah.
But also, the Doom comes back this weekend as well. Former heavyweight champion against Alexei Olenek in the prelims. You know, it's almost bittersweet for him to be coming back in front of no fans.
I think we're forgetting just like how stacked this card is as well. Like as you just
It's
mentioned,
incredible.
we've got the Doom. You've also got
in the
Uriah Hall
prelims.
just put down there as well with
Michelle Watson, Carla Esparza's in the prelims. It's ridiculous.
I was very surprised with the placing of Nico Price versus Luque's fight. So
I thought he was going to say Greg Hardy versus De Castro then, but obviously they're starting the main card. But
yeah, they are. I saw that actually. Yeah.
I would have put other fights ahead of that. I have to be honest. I mean, like, I probably would have went with Cowboy and Pettis ahead of that one on the main card. I don't understand the reason behind that, because I don't really see Greg Hardy as much of a draw as the UFC maybe hoped he'd be.
Are they both contender series guys?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're both contender series, aren't they? So it's trying to build up one of them as a star, isn't it, I suppose? And Greg Hardy, as bad as his past is, he brings the eyes to the sport because people want to see him lose more than win.
Well, I feel like Dana's taken that approach of having a big card headline the prelims too, to get more people into the open ESPN showing, because I think initially it was supposed to be Ngannou Rozenstruik, right, on the first one, and now he's moved that up on, I think it's third on the main card, and he has Pettis and Cowboy on that, which I think it's good for, I'd say, the casual fans probably in America haven't watched the sport a lot. If they can tune into a fight like that on open ESPN, that could sell you a pay-per-view or two.
Yeah, well, the ESPN sort of main card seems to be a lot better than the opening fight of the pay-per-view card, and it is a smart business move when you've got someone watching those last 15 minutes wondering whether they should buy this pay-per-view or not. You've got Anthony Pettis and Cerrone there. You've got to make a decision, and you know it could be a war, and you're probably more likely to buy the pay-per-view than if you saw Greg Hardy versus De Castro.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm really looking forward to watching De Castro after that fight against Tafa, because I was not expecting what he did to he just started the walk-off. I wrote an article on Tafa being the next Mark Hunt, and De Castro just Mark Hunted him in the first round. So
he kind of just walked into that. He walked into that, didn't he?
Oh yeah, no, yeah. He opened himself up for it all the way, but I was just really shook by it. So I'm looking forward to see how he looks in his second fight, where he's kind of more known now, because he was really coming in as nobody really into that first one.
Yeah.
Think about how much of an opportunity this could be for Verdun to put himself back in the mix. You know, like if Ngannou didn't get the result he's looking for, and Greg Hardy, whatever else, I don't see him in the mix at all. But like, if Verdun can capitalize on this opportunity, he could slide right in there, because I see Rozenstruik being another 2-3 fights away maybe from the title. So this is the perfect opportunity as well, I think, for Verdun to really showcase himself again.
Yeah. That is very interesting, because me and Arian was talking before we started doing this that say if DC fights Stipe for the trilogy, DC wins, he then retires and the belt's suddenly vacant. But if the Doom gets a good win and Ngannou gets a good win, then he got a good legitimate shout for the next contender there.
Yeah, absolutely. But I just see, if DC was to win, I just see Stipe being the first fighter back in for the title again, maybe against an Ngannou or something like that.
The Doom rematch,
Stipe
perhaps.
will absolutely be in there. Possibly, yeah.
But also, do you think if Rozenstruik beats Ngannou, you can go there and tell him that he needs more fights before he can get a title shot? Because I feel like that hype train will be going way too fast at that point if he can get that win.
Yeah, I don't know. I just can't see, like Dana's also a marketer. He's the best promoter in the world, but he looks at, you know, your image as well as your ability, as well as sales, generating sales and stuff like that. And Ngannou has that with a truckload. You know, Rozenstruik still needs a bit more time to, you know, get the wheel pushed behind them. I feel, anyways.
I feel like this is too early for him. This kind of a fight, but he was asking for it though.
Yeah.
I mean,
saw
when
what
he fought
happened-
over him. Sorry, go on.
I was going to say, you saw what happened with Ngannou when he got pushed into a title shot. And you could potentially see the same thing happen to Rozenstruik if Rozenstruik obliterates Ngannou this weekend.
That's what I was going to say. 24 over him, he lost until the last second when he landed that incredible shot that literally parted over his lip. But so
Healed up well, though.
He held up fantastic well. He was at the next UFC event next week, weren't he? And it was all like perfect, and I was really impressed. But to be able to go from over him, who is kind of like the gatekeeper to the top 5 now, to then go to someone like Francis, I think that's a big step up. And Francis has improved a lot since the Stipe fight. He's been working on his ground. In fact, before I come on here, I was just watching the Embedded episode that came out last night.
He looked ripped.
And he is in the shape of his life. It's ridiculous to see how big that guy is.
I think the Derek Lewis fight was more important to Francis than the Stipe fight.
Oh, I forgot about that fight.
Yeah, because he was even more humbled by that one than Stipe. You know, you could tell he was a fighter short of confidence, and I think he just looked at it and he doesn't want that happening again. He doesn't want to repeat that, so he's putting these things all together. And I think if he does get another title shot, he's going to be ready for it this time around.
Yeah, I do as well. I think he'll be more than equipped.
Yeah, I feel like from those two fights, from the Stipe and the Lewis fight, he kind of learned that it's not just him in there trying to knock somebody out, but there's actually somebody across from him trying to knock him out too.
Exactly.
And he actually takes his opponent into consideration now, and I feel like he's definitely come out of that the smarter fighter, which that's what you want. You want that experience before you get to fight all the DCs and the Stipes for the title.
Yeah.
It's going to be interesting.
Someone who does have a lot of experience coming into this weekend is Dominick Cruz. Now, Dominick Cruz goes straight into a bantamweight title shot. One, what's your thoughts on that? And two, is it more the fact that he was the only one available, with Aldo being in Brazil, Sterling having his problems, and Petr over in Russia, or in Thailand at the moment?
I don't mind. Like, I'm kind of 50-50. Like, I can understand why he's been given a title shot, because obviously it was meant to be Jose Aldo. It probably should have been Moraes, but obviously Cejudo wanted Aldo. Then you've got Jan, who's meant to be facing. He was meant to be facing Moraes, wasn't he, in Kazakhstan? I think it was.
Yes, yeah.
So then that does kind of open up. Like Cruz has kind of got lucky the way he's just stayed straight back in. And it's been over 3 years now since he fought Cody, and it's going to be interesting to see how he comes back against someone who isn't a natural bantamweight, but is on a rampage at the moment.
Yeah, and beat Moraes pretty convincingly as well.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he really did. Moraes gassed, didn't he, towards the end of that fight? Everyone kind of thought Moraes was going to maybe finish him early, especially after moving up. But obviously, don't forget TJ as well.
Yeah.
Despite what he's done, he's back January next year, is it? I think it is.
Yeah, he's back January next year. And, you know, you've already seen Cody Garbrandt giving it bits to Dominick Cruz. Like, if Dominick Cruz wins this one, you look at the likes of Sterling and Jan, and you feel quite sorry for them, because obviously TJ's back in, as you say, January. So he'll probably be fighting in February or March. And he's been, I don't know how true it is, but he said he's been guaranteed a title shot when he returns anyway.
I think it's hard to guarantee a title shot. I think it's hard to guarantee it, though. When there's so many moving pieces at the top of that division.
Yeah, I feel like Cruz wasn't going to get a title shot to come back. Like, he was being lined up to fight somebody else. But I think,
Sandhagen won it.
Yeah, all the pieces just fell into the right place for him. And I'm just really curious, because I feel like if there's anybody that has shown that ring rust doesn't exist, it's him coming back of the multiple injuries. So I'm really curious to see how he looks in the opening few minutes of that fight, because I also don't know how Cejudo's going to approach it, because I do get the feeling that he might try to come out fast and try to close him down and put the pressure on him early. But I think it's like everything is lined up for a fairy tale return for him to come back and dethrone the guy that has been talking the most and kind of set himself back up right on top of the division, and he becomes the money fight straight away if he can stay healthy. So I think it's a way more interesting fight than people give it credit for, because some people are trying to overlook Cruz. But I feel like under the circumstances, one, with there not being a lot of people available, and two, with him being as kind of accomplished as he is, arguably the greatest bantamweight of all time. I feel like it's a fight that it would make sense down the road, but I don't mind it coming earlier than expected.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, and, you know, if you look at Cejudo, if he gets to win this weekend, he then has wins over Demetrius Johnson, TJ Dillashaw, and Dominick Cruz. So where does that put him in terms of his legacy, Jay?
I think this fight, it can go either way. Look, in my opinion, Dominick Cruz is the best bantamweight of all time. Cejudo could obviously change that very quickly, because you look at the body of work Cejudo has put together. But Dominick Cruz has a very fantastic body of work as well. So to put his name on that, to put Cejudo's name on his record, it 100% puts Dominick Cruz as the best of all time, in my opinion. I'm looking forward to it because it's like Ariane said, Dominick Cruz, he shows like ring rust is just a myth, you know, to some people. He doesn't feel any effects to it. If he can come in, if he gets a good first round under his belt, I think he'll be all right. But yeah, I'm just happy to see him back, because he's a fantastic fighter, and he's good to watch. He's good to listen to. Yeah, I'm excited, but I think these are the two best of all time, in my opinion, in the bantamweight division, anyways.
Definitely, yeah, definitely. I think as much as you can take the cringe judo out of Cejudo, his body of work is incredible, and he beats Dominick Cruz. Say he goes on to beat Jose Aldo after that, or Petr Yan, or Sterling. His body of work is incredible at the end of the day.
Mm-hmm.
What I don't want to see is him then go up to see Volkanovski. I don't think that's a smart idea.
That's what he wants.
I don't think they'd let him.
I think he said it 3 times yesterday. That's what.
On the conference call. Yeah. Well, I mean, he'd be the first champ, wouldn't he?
And yeah, quadruple C.
Oh God, yeah.
I don't think I could listen to that.
No, I'm struggling to listen to it as it is. So if that he wants to add another championship, I just think that just leave the featherweights where they are right now. That division is booming as it is.
Yeah,
especially with I think especially with Edson Barbosa coming down as well. I think that adds a whole new different dynamic to it. Obviously, you've got Max and that. Yeah, so was I.
Because I thought he put out something like a week prior to that he wanted his release from the UFC. So that caught me by surprise.
I think they weren't giving him a fight, but
maybe so.
He always looked quite lean on the scales at 55. But apparently his coach has been saying that he can easily cut it and he'll do it safely. So
has he got the same coach as Aldo? Is he in the same gym as Aldo, or are they different gyms? Obviously, Aldo made the move down, didn't he? And he made it pretty well.
No, does Barbosa not train with like the Frankie Edgar and stuff like that?
With Mark, maybe, yeah.
Mark Henry.
It could be Mark Henry, actually, yeah. Because I'm going on to the bantamweights again. I saw that Cody's been working with Mark Henry as well to get his striking up. So that hopefully will do him a world of good, because he's another one who he's on a 3 fight loss streak now, 3 KOs in a row. After the 2 to TJ and then Pedro. But
you add him in the mix at bantamweight, that division might become one of the best in the the company.
Yeah, and you've got Frankie Edgar moving down as well.
So there's definitely a lot for Cejudo there to kind of clear out first before he starts thinking of featherweight. But it just feels like if he manages to beat Cruz and then he beats Aldo too, if that's the next fight in line, the hype might kind of push him and sway Dana to maybe give him another super fight, because it was. Yeah.
If he beats Aldo and Cruz, along with beating TJ, beating Demetrius Johnson, he's beat 4 of the best fighters really in UFC history.
Cool.
And that would definitely put him up there. Despite the cringe levels it would say, that would definitely put him up there as one of the best.
Well, that's the thing, isn't it? Like, he's just so hard to listen to, and his interviews, they do me head in sometimes, but you have to just put that to the side and understand that his ability is up there. Like, he's top 5 for me, pound for pound.
I think he reminds me a lot of Colby as well.
Yeah.
I can't listen to him when it comes to interviews, but they're one hell of a fighter. It's incredible. Like I think it all stems from kind of like being able to talk what you talk, and going out there and doing it are two completely separate different things. So if you can go out and do it as well, then I think you'll get a lot more credit. But that's always, I think that's a character now he's deployed.
I feel like
Only one
also
point
his
of that.
journey, his journey gets overlooked a lot too, because I wouldn't have guessed from that first DJ fight that he would come back to be all this. It
No.
just didn't look like it. It just felt like at the time when he lost to Demetrius, he just looked like another person that just got thrown in there with him because that's what the division gave Dana, and he just lost, and that was it. But he didn't let that wash him aside. He came back, and now he's really reaping the benefits of the work that he's put in. So I feel like on the opposite of the cringe side, the kind of person and the hard worker, the grafter that he is admirable.
Oh yeah. I can definitely sit here and appreciate the way maybe also like Masvidal. He's also like a second stage of his career where he's kind of reappeared into everyone's eyes, and he's probably rightly so getting that limelight right now.
Definitely, and you was talking about the featherweight division a minute ago. We've got Jeremy Stephens, that's Calvin Cage on that main card as well. Another incredible fight in a division. Jeremy Stephens hasn't had the best of luck, but neither has Calvin Cage with his fight against Zabit.
Yeah, that fight was crazy. That was. I think Calvin's overlooked. I think in the top 10, he obviously kind of burst into the scene and then was kind of thrown in with Zabit in Russia when no one really wanted to travel over there, and he was like, "Yeah, I'll do it. That doesn't bother me." And
He done well as well.
Oh yeah. I don't think I watched that fight, but I did watch the highlights back, and I was impressed with how he'd done. But I think someone like Jeremy Stephens, he's been around forever now. He's been around for like 12, 13 years, but he's kind of like the gatekeeper now to the top 10 as well. If you can go and beat Jeremy, then you'll get a big fight.
Yeah, I would agree, 100%.
Yeah, I think it's like a solid middle of the pack in the featherweight fight, in which the winner, if he can put on a good performance and get a good win, gets kind of pushed forward significantly than the other person. Like the other person will just kind of stay in place, whereas the winner really gets the money in this one. So it's going to be interesting, and it sounds like Kattar is very confident from what I've seen in a couple of interviews that I've watched. And I think he likes the fact that he's being overlooked because Stephens is obviously the bigger name. So yeah, it's definitely going to be an interesting fight, and it's easy to lose it in how stacked this card is, but I think it's definitely going to be a good one.
Yeah, it's definitely one of the fights I'm most looking forward to.
Yeah, me
probably
too.
along with Nico Price as well.
Yeah, no, just touching off the Stephens Kattar fight. I think, in my opinion, I hate doing predictions, but in my opinion, I think it's just going to be the fight tonight. I think it's going to overlook everything.
Yeah.
They just stylistically, they both bring it. Jeremy Stephens has made a living off entertaining fights. I see that overshadowing everything this weekend.
What, even Tony Gaethje as well?
Yeah, I just think it's a sleeper. I do.
It's going to be interesting because I just feel that, like, if you compare it to Tony Gaethje, like, Tony and Gaethje never win boring fights.
No,
to be fair, though, Jeremy's either.
Yeah, I'm not saying that like that'll be it's boring or nothing like that. I just think I have an image in my head of how Tony Gaethje is gonna go.
Yeah.
I don't think it's gonna be a war. I don't think it's gonna be anything long. I think it's over in 2 rounds. I see Stephens is hard to put away. He's been hit to the body a couple of times, and that's been some trouble for him. But I think these two are gonna go at it, and it's just an opinion. I just think they're gonna steal the show.
That's fair.
That's crazy because the only way I can imagine Tony against Gaethje is just a 5-round bloodbath, like a war, and whoever like the last man standing wins and the other gets stretchered out. That's the only thing that is in my head.
I think that's what we all want to say.
Yeah.
I want to see it 100%.
After no UFC for so long, after no sports for so long.
Yeah, everybody goes to decision.
That's what happened in, I think it was Brazil, wasn't it? There was like all but 2 went to decision. So it's going to be interesting to see how the no crowd plays into 2 fighters like Tony and like Justin, who like to please the crowd and stuff like that. It's going to be interesting.
Yeah, but at the same time, I think those two generally don't care if they fight in front of 20,000 or one person. I think they both bring it just as much as each other. Now, if we're going to make predictions, Jay, what are the rest of your predictions, guys? One for the main event and I guess the co-main event as well.
So I think it's really, as I said before, I think Justin is the worst opponent for everybody in the top 5 of that division because of just what he brings. After you got those 2 losses against Justin and Eddie, the way he's come back now, I think he openly said it. He said, I'm aiming to not get hit as much. I'm only throwing punches that I need to throw in order to go and knock somebody out. And he did that.
He also said he wanted his nose broken this weekend, but okay.
Oh, yeah, I saw that, yeah. What a madman. I just think that the amount of time to change my mind on this fight is ridiculous. I think that Tony's going to edge it just. I think those elbows on... We might, and I know we don't like it, but we might see a doctor stoppage.
It's a good prediction.
I know.
I wouldn't rule it out.
I wouldn't rule it out. Tony elbows on the ground. Maybe he's broken his nose, Justin. Maybe it's like a Mike Perry nose sort of thing. Maybe.
And Cejudo, Dominick Cruz, who do you reckon takes that bantamweight belt?
Cejudo. I just think that you can't be out of the octagon for just over 3 years and come back against someone like Cejudo, who's on a rampage. But I'd be more than prepared for Dominic to, I wouldn't say shock the world, because everyone knows he's got it in him, but to kind of, upset the apple cart.
Definitely. Aaron?
For me, I think in the main event, my heart is saying Tony definitely, but I can see an upset. Like, it wouldn't shock me because I think it's safe to say that if Gaethje wins, it would be a bit of an upset, even though like he's as reputable as he is. But he gets hit a lot, and the fact that he goes going into this fight saying he would love it for his nose to be broken makes me feel like he might go all out, guns blazing, and not really be as calculated as he maybe claimed he wanted to be in the past. And I feel like that's just playing into Tony's hands because like that man he wants to hit you with every limb. So like I said, I wouldn't be shocked if Gaethje pulled it off and just kind of ruined everything, ruined the Tony Khabib thing, because that's just what happens. That's just what MMA gods want sometimes. But I think I'm going to lean towards Tony. But I do think it's going to be a decision, though. I just don't see any of them getting stopped unless it's a doctor stoppage, because one of them is just like literally not able to continue.
And Cejudo Cruz, you reckon?
As for that one, I'm a little bit more open minded. I think for that one, because I think that Cruz has all the tools to nullify what Cejudo does if he's sharp and he doesn't have any of that. Because like Reese said, 3 years is a long time, and especially to come back in against a guy who's on such a roll. And I feel like even if he's not having the best night in the octagon, the kind of momentum could carry him through some moments. So it's definitely going to be interesting. But I'm also interested to see how Cejudo approaches that one, and if he lets any of that get to his head, because I feel like it's easy to get caught up in that kind of stuff, and he's really running with it too. So I think I'm going to go with Cruz to take it, which might be an unpopular opinion, but I'm just kind of feeling this fairy tale comeback story that it just might happen, and he's really looking in good shape. And from what he's been saying in interviews, he sounds really locked in. So I hope he can stay healthy and go in there at 100% and put in a good show. So I'm going to go with Cruz on this one.
Yeah, definitely. There's a lot of storylines that are going to come out Sunday morning. It just depends. All of them could be interesting. Obviously, if Dominick Cruz wins, if Gaethje wins, the MMA world is going to go ballistic if we lose Tony Ferguson and Khabib for another 2 years. And I guess, Jay, what's your prediction for the main and co-main event, finally?
So, for the main event, my head tells me Tony wins this fight 10 times out of 10. But there's just something about my gut telling me that Gaethje ends this whole saga with Tony and Khabib. I feel like he's put there to be the spoiler. Look, I believe Tony... Yeah, we've seen his body of work and what he does to people. He cuts people open for fun, I feel like he does that, like, of enjoyment almost. But I just have a feeling that he will have the upper hand on Gaethje, and he's just gonna get caught in an exchange. And new interim champ Justin Gaethje, I feel like that's what's gonna happen. And as for the co-main, I'm kind of just piggybacking off what the two lads said about Cruz. You know, could it be looked at too much too soon? Maybe, but I feel like his ability and his pace, his footwork, everything he has is just made to disrupt people. And he's made a living off beating the smaller fighters. He's made a career off it, you know. Multiple world titles because of it. So I have a feeling he's going to do it one more time and he's going to get the belt back. By decision, that is.
Yeah, it's interesting. I think for myself, I'm probably going to go with Cejudo. I think I'm just slightly edging towards him just because he is slightly more active. I don't see. It'd be interesting to see what Dominick Cruz comes out as. But I think I wouldn't be upset if he took the belt. Now for Gaethje, this is probably a prediction. I'm hoping I'm wrong. Because obviously, again, I think we're all in the same boat that we think we want Tony to win, but Gaethje's up there. Gaethje's in there for the upset, and it would just be so typical. After we was 2 months ago, we was a month out from Tony Khabib happening. It looked like nothing could stop it this time, and then what happened. But it looks like Justin Gaethje could come in and just absolutely just tear it up for good.
Make no mistake about it. I think if Justin Gaethje was to win, I still think Tony and Khabib, it won't have the steam that it should, but I still think Tony can cause major problems for Khabib. It's just stylistically. Like I believe Tony's a bad matchup for Khabib. I believe Gaethje's a bad matchup for Tony, and Conor is an absolute bad matchup for Gaethje. It's crazy how this lightweight division works, but every single one of them can beat each other on their day.
It is. I think it's the best division in terms of the top 5, and as you just said, like everyone matching up against each other. I don't think there's another division out there at the moment that's like that, where you can pick out 3-4 fighters and individually say that who's a bad matchup for who.
Yeah, like and like that. I think that title could be passed around so many times. You have 2-time champs in that division because they're all so good. And then you also have the Dustin Poiriers out there as well.
Yeah,
he's
Dan
not to be slept
Hooker
on
as well.
either. Exactly.
Yeah.